Once there was a man named Raph who wanted to bring his followers some cool podcasts. Or something like that. Anyway, hey guys, it's Raph here, and I'm just taking some time out of my day to bring you a list of tips that I've compiled in the past week from all the experiences that I've had in the past year, going to events and conventions and things like that. So, without further ado, let's get this party started and all that good stuff with my first tip. Sleep is essential. When you're planning your trip for a convention, you want to make sure that or when you are leaving for a convention the next day, you want to make sure that you have slept properly and are fully rested. And when I say this, you do not want to, or try your best to avoid crunch time for a costume if you're working on that, something like that. I recommend getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep the day before or the night before leaving for a convention, because depending on where you're at, you may have to do a lot of driving, you may have to do a lot of commuting. If you live in the area of the convention, and you may have to take a bus to get there or what have you, dealing with people in between or when you get there can take a lot of energy, especially if you are a cosplayer or a vendor or an artist who will be set up there. If you're a cosplayer, you'll have people who will want to take your photo. They'll have questions, they'll expect you to have answers, and you'll just need that extra energy. The same goes for a vendor or an artist, more or less. Moral of the story, sleep is essential, period. Self-explaining. Tip number 2 is pre-registration. Online registration is a lifesaver, and it can save you an F-ton of money in the long run. And when I say this, you could take some of your money from your tax return, set it aside, and then when pre-reg opens up online for the convention, you can go ahead and take that money and buy your badge and be set to go. That way, when you get to the convention, you can go through the line, talk to the person at the computer, give them your name, your form of identification, bing bang boom, you have your badge, you're on your way. You're ready to go. Check out these cool panels, get some souvenirs signed by your favorite actors or guests or whoever's going to be there, so on, etc. Which, with that, we'll go into tip number 3, which is packing properly. And when I say this, you want to bring the essentials. If you have your cell phone, chances are you will have your cell phone. You'll want to bring your cell phone charger. You'll also want to bring your toothbrush, toothpaste, extra clothing bits. You might even want to bring a bar of soap with you, because depending on where you're crashing, there may not be these basic toiletries available to you. You could even want to bring a towel. Bring whatever you feel is comfortable. I found that going to conventions, it's probably easiest to try and pack light as possible. That way there's less chance of you to forget something at the convention or forget to bring something. Something that I like to do when packing for a convention is make a checklist of all the things that I intend to bring. That way when I get there, I can check this list, make sure I have everything, and check it again when I go to pack to leave. Especially if you're a cosplayer, because you don't want to forget any costume pieces. You really don't want to forget your phone charger, because you'll be using your cell phone and or laptop. Well, if that's the case, you don't want to forget your laptop charger either, but especially your cell phone, because you'll probably have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, things, social media access like that. And that's basically how you can communicate with your followers, people who support what you do. Speaking of packing properly, we're going to go on to tip number 4, bring snacks. I can't stress this enough. When you go to cons, a con, especially in the local area, will effectively be tourist season for nerds and geeks. In other words, some places will have prices that you may or may not be willing to pay, which is where it helps to go to the grocery store the week beforehand and pick up things like cereal bars, chips, drinks, water, Red Bull, whatever you feel comfortable bringing. I don't recommend eating nothing but Doritos and Red Bull at the convention because, well, that's just not good for you. But something you could do is check out the hotel you'll be staying at and see if there's a mini fridge in your room. If there's a mini fridge, you can pack things, you can grab things to make sandwich with, what have you. Depending on if you're going for a day, you could just bring enough for the day. I mean, who knows? A lot could happen. But what I'm saying is, it doesn't hurt to bring your own snacks and drinks, things like that. So with that, I'm going to be going to my fifth and final tip, which is called reconnaissance. So this is important, especially if you have never been to a particular convention. Like I have never been to Dragon Con. And what I would do is go to the website, I would find the address for the convention center, and then I would go immediately to Google Maps and put in that address, which will pop up, and I can look at all the eateries and hotels that are in the area. And then let's say I want to know the price of a Holiday Inn, for example, that is in the area. I don't know if it's in the area or not. I'm just using it as an example, as a scenario example. So let's say it's going to cost me $200 a night, and I'll be there for 3 nights. That's $600 that I'll need to set aside for the hotel costs. Okay, there's a Chipotle in the area. Cool, I'll want to eat at Chipotle twice. They will have something there that I want to eat that costs $20. So I'll need minimally $40 to $50 for eating out while I'm at the con, in case I want to eat out, even though I brought my own snacks and things like that. So I'm already at $650 just for food and hotel coverage. I haven't even gotten to gas and stuff like that if I'm driving. So what I'm saying with this is recon. That way, because that way you can get exact numbers on what you'll have to set aside for your convention trip. Because, I mean, a lot of people, I've noticed that a lot of people do not take advantage of the fact that we essentially walk around with portals to the internet in our pockets every single day. And information is just literally at our fingertips. Like, it's not that hard. All you have to do is pull your phone out, hit a few buttons, and then there's your answer. Now, you know, I know that some people have gotten so used to having cell phones and things like that, but what I'm saying is recon, because the information is there, all you have to do is look for it. You can get exact digits for what you'll need to save for your convention trip. So, with that, I'm going to leave you guys on a high note, and I hope that you enjoyed these convention tips that I've brought you guys. My next podcast, I'll try to go over what you should pack in a repair kit if you're a convention-going cosplayer. I like that word, convention, a lot. I think I've said that about 5 billion times in this podcast, but my next episode, I'll be going over what you should pack in a repair kit if you are cosplaying and whatnot, things like that, some things that I have brought. So, I will catch you guys on the flip side. Stay creative, and have a wonderful day, evening, morning, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for following. Thanks for supporting what I do. If you don't follow me and you don't know who I am, you can head over to Facebook, look me up at Raf Reanimated. Follow my page. You can also follow me on Twitter at Reanimated, at Raf Reanimated, and you can also follow me on YouTube at Raf Reanimated. I occasionally update